Hello and welcome tonight. Less than 48 hours before the Ekiti State governorship election, Electoral Umpire commences the distribution of sensitive election materials to all 16 local government areas of the state. Nigerian governors meet with state attorneys general to review proposed constitutional amendments and deliberate on legal frameworks for the establishment of state police across the country. Retired military generals call for urgent reforms to the nation's security architecture following the death of General Rabi Abubakar while in custody of bandits. And the United States lifts its naval blockade of Iranian ports, while Iran's supreme leader claims President Trump agreed to the deal out of desperation.
On business news, federal government unveils new guidelines to facilitate a smooth transition to the provisions of the newly enacted tax law. On sports news tonight, South Africa converts a late penalty to salvage a draw against Czech Republic in their second Group A match of the FIFA World Cup in Atlanta.
From the nation's capital, National Economic Council approves the release of more than 83 billion naira to tackle persistent challenge of flooding across the country.
Less than 48 hours to the Ekiti polls, pre-election activities towards Saturday's governorship election have commenced in earnest in the state. In Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, residents are fully prepared to exercise their franchise. Moreover, the state government has declared tomorrow, Friday, June the 19th, as a public holiday. Earlier today, the officials of the state office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, were at the Central Bank of Nigeria office in Ekiti for the distribution of sensitive materials to be used in the election. The sensitive materials, including the ballot papers and result sheets, were sorted by the officials and then loaded into vehicles to be conveyed to their respective destinations, the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State. Well, the resident electoral commissioner for Ekiti State, in a chat with our correspondent, says the process is going on smoothly.
What's going on is collection of sensitive material, which is very critical part of the electoral process. So you can see everybody trying to take it to their local government. Then from their local government, they will take it to RAC Center. From there, they will take it to polling units on Saturday morning. So we're going to local government now. Thursday and Friday, they will move to RAC Center. From RAC Center to polling units. This is the first part. And by the time they get there, we have the NUWRT, the transporters. So they are ready. We have done our transportation matrices and we have known the number of vehicles we are deploying. And we are giving the vehicles, they have reported to road safety. You can see them here to assess their vehicles. And also we have their names and everything that we are giving to SSS and police. So we are ready prepared for this election. And we are going to start election at 8:30 in Ekiti State. All our polling units will have been ready by 8 o'clock. So I'm urging the citizens to come out and exercise their voting rights.
Meanwhile, as Nigerians look ahead to the June 20th governorship polls, candidates are already making final efforts to win support as voters prepare to elect a governor who will lead Ekiti State for the next 4 years. In this report, Channels Television takes a look at the profile of the top candidates in the race.
13 political parties are contesting the Saturday, June 20 governorship election in Ekiti State. The candidates are the incumbent Governor Biodun Oyebanji of the All Progressives Congress, Wole Oluyede PDP, Oluwadare Bejide ADC, Abegunde Blessing NNPP, Oyebanji Olajuyin Labour Party, Ayodeji Ojo ADP, and Akonde Samuel AAC. Others are Bidemi Awogbemi APP, Olaniyi Ayodele PRP, Owola Daramola YPP, Victor Adetuji ZLP, and Okpeyemi Falegon Accord Party.
You don't want
Governor Oyebanji is seeking re-election for a second term. He won the 2022 governorship election with 187,057 votes, defeating Shengoni of the SDP and Bisi Kolawole of the PDP. His re-election bid has received support from several prominent figures, including former governors Adeni Adebayo, Ayodele Fayoshe, Kayode Fayemi, and Shengoni, amongst others. His party, the APC, currently controls all 9 National Assembly seats, 26 seats in the State House of Assembly, all 16 local government councils, and 22 local council development areas. If re-elected, Mr. Oyebanji will become the first governor in Ekiti State to win 2 consecutive terms. The People's Democratic Party candidate Mr. Wole Oluyede from Ikere Ekiti in Ekiti South Senatorial District is hoping to revive the party's fortunes. He has contested previous governorship elections under different political platforms. His hometown is one of the state's largest voting centers. Also considered a major contender is the candidate of the African Democratic Party, Ambassador Dari Bejide. He is the former secretary to the state government and the former Nigerian ambassador to Canada. Across the 16 local government areas and 177 wards, voters are expected to turn out in over 2,000 polling units to vote for the governor who will lead the state for the next 4 years.
Once again, the debate over security reform in Nigeria is taking a major step forward as the Nigeria Governors Forum renews its strong backing for the creation of state police. This comes after a high-level meeting in Abuja with state attorneys general, where proposed constitutional amendments and the framework for implementation were carefully reviewed. Briefing journalists after the closed-door meeting at the secretariat of the forum in Abuja, the governors emphasized the need for the proposed state police to be constitutionally sound and aligned with the country's principles of federalism. The governors also deliberated on the proposal to expand electricity access through large-scale decentralized solar generation integrated with a national high-voltage transmission network under the National Solar Supergrid Initiative.
We members of the Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, at our meeting held today, deliberated on issues affecting the country, and following extensive deliberations, the forum resolved as follows. The forum received a presentation from the NGF Secretariat and a delegation of the Honorable Attorneys General of the states on efforts to support establishing state police in Nigeria. It noted a dedicated consultation with the Attorney General to review the proposed constitutional amendments and frameworks. Governors emphasized the need for the state police to be constitutionally sound and aligned with federalism and citizens' rights. The forum noted the collaborative effort and added that the consultation outcomes will strengthen the state's collective position. The forum received a presentation on the National Solar Supergrid Initiative, NSSG, a proposal to expand electricity access through large-scale, decentralized solar generation integrated with a national high-voltage transmission network. The forum noted the initiative's potential to support industrialization, improve energy security, strengthen state electricity markets, and accelerate economic growth. Governors reiterated their commitment to ongoing power sector reforms and to strengthening collaboration among stakeholders to expand access to reliable and affordable electricity for Nigerians.
Meanwhile, retired military generals have called for urgent reforms to Nigeria's security architecture following the death of one of their own, a retired Major General Rabi Abubakar, who reportedly died after being kidnapped by bandits in Katsina State, as well as other victims of banditry across the country. During the news conference in Kaduna State, the retired officers described the incident as a stark reminder of the growing insecurity facing Nigeria.
The days of General Rabi Abubakar in the hands of bandits is not merely a headline. Tragically, it is a reflection of a system unable to guarantee safety to its citizens. Equally disturbing are the persistent abductions of peace-loving people, and in particular, school children, which is a national tragedy that has endured for a long time. Kidnappings, banditry, terrorism have now made insecurity a daily sad Nigerian reality. As fear spreads, and with increasing public anger and economic hardship, Nigerians are gradually losing confidence in government's ability to defend them. The need for a more proactive and realistic approach towards improving counterinsurgency is now even more urgent. The current terrorism and kidnapping trend in Nigeria across the states makes it difficult to separate regions of conflict and regions of peace.
When I look at these people, more especially while I was in captivity, I am telling you that no matter what, no matter the arrangement of negotiation, we are not going to have it easy with these bandits. We must follow them aggressively. We should not forget one thing. These people are also human beings like us. They fear death. When we are in captivity there, they fear death. They fear any other person that will come and challenge them and fight them and finish them.
Still talking security, the Nigeria Police has announced plans to establish a permanent police outpost at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, in Kuru, following Monday's attack that left 2 soldiers and a police officer dead. The assurance came during a visit by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of training and development, Mr. Isiaku Mohammed, to the institute. The police chief, who visited to commiserate with the management of the institute and families of the 3 security personnel killed in the attack, assured participants and staff that the police, in collaboration with the military, have reviewed the security architecture around the institution and are taking additional measures to prevent a recurrence.
The IG sent me to personally come and commiserate and identify the institute. I let them know that the institute are not alone in this time of grief. We are ages with them, the Nigerian police is with them. And to assure everybody in this compound that the police are doing everything possible to ensure that they are secure, the environment is safe for them to conduct their academic exercise and continue their research. So far, so good. The Commissioner Police have done a beautiful work. The military has also done a wonderful job in securing the environment. That notwithstanding, we are still reviewing it, and also we are still going to enforce the compound. When I was with the DG, he mentioned the issue of having a police post within the compound, which I'm going to discuss with the Inspector General of Police, and very soon we're going to have an outpost which will be populated with policemen and also proper security.
The Director General of NIPS, Professor Ayo Motayo, commended the swift response of security agencies during the attack, saying their prompt intervention helped repel the assailants despite the loss of 3 security personnel.
I called the IG of police, he responded, the GOC responded, and it was because they responded as quickly as possible that we were able to repel the attack that came us at the National Institute. They told us they were going to come. We didn't believe that they would come, but we still prepared for them to come. The policemen didn't run away. The Nigerian soldiers didn't run away. So when they came, about the time they came, we were ready for them. And that is why we were able to repel the attack. Unfortunately, we lost 3 members of the security forces. I don't want to speculate. The security forces are investigating, they are interrogating, they have made a few arrests, and I'm sure we are going to get to the bottom why and how they decided to attack. Probably you will recall that they had posted notices that they needed us to give them $1 million and 50 million naira. And like we didn't do it, they were going to come. And they actually came.
In part two, after the break, National Economic Council approves the release of more than 83 billion naira to tackle the persistent challenge of flooding across the country. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Less than 48 hours before the Ekiti state governorship election, the electoral umpire commences the distribution of sensitive election materials to all 16 local government areas of the state. Nigerian governors meet with state attorneys general to review proposed constitutional amendments and deliberate on legal frameworks for the establishment of state police across the country. Retired military generals call for urgent reforms to the nation's security architecture following the death of General Rabi Abubakar while in the custody of bandits. And United States lifts its naval blockade of Iranian ports, while Iran's supreme leader claims President Trump agreed to the deal out of desperation. Environmental and rights advocates have described the ongoing gas seepage in Bile community, Degema local government area of Rivers State, as a major health and environmental emergency, accusing the federal government of neglecting the crisis facing communities across the Niger Delta. This occurred during a visit to the island community by a coalition of civil society organizations and environmentalists to draw attention to the plight of the island's inhabitants.
Across the island community of Bile, unrefined natural gas is seeping from the ground at multiple locations, in rivers, wells, drainage channels, and even residential streets. The emission is easily detectable through its strong presence in the air, with residents reporting discomfort when inhaling it, alongside a noticeable effect on taste and water quality. A tour of the community by Social Action and other stakeholders reveals gas bubbling visibly from the ground in several locations.
The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, which is responsible for regulating the oil industry, have done nothing, apart from just making a media statement that they're going to do something about it, they're going to investigate it. But months after, we've not seen any response. We are seeing situations where the very lives of people in this community are threatened. That people are living in fear. There is uncertainty because at any point in time, there could be an unmanageable fire situation.
Bile hosts OML 18, operated by the NNPCL, which has deployed a fire truck to the area as a precautionary measure. But environmentalists describe the move as inadequate. Activists at the scene did not hold back in their assessment of the danger, even as they showed how the community's water source turns black in seconds once collected in a bottle.
I've never seen anywhere where you fetch water and in less than 1 minute the water has turned black. You have seen bubbling gas on top of the river, even on the street. The street is bubbling. So it means that these people are sitting on a cake of gunpowder. They might be sleeping and waking up in fire, in hellfire. And so I'm surprised that this happened since November, and up till now, the government of Nigeria has not declared a state of emergency here.
The groups are asking the federal government to formally declare a state of emergency in Bile, a designation they say is long overdue given the scale of contamination already recorded.
I'm furious, I'm angry. I'm not from Bile, but I am angry. Bile are my people. I am their person. I just don't believe that we live in a country that can put people through what Bile people have been going through since last year. It didn't happen last week. It didn't happen last month. It happened last year.
If the Bile community immediately right now that they want to shut down Ome 24, Yahuba, and by extension, Women 18 operations NNPC. Immediately they will react because they know that they are losing a lot of economy for just one day. But they have not reacted to this situation since October last year till now.
The emissions have been on since November 2025, heightening concerns over both the immediate health risks and the long-term environmental damage facing Bili. So far, the federal government has failed to arrest the situation for the past 7 months, even as social action insists the community is sitting on what it describes as a ticking time bomb, one that requires urgent government intervention before it escalates further. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
All right, now let's head to the nation's capital where Terry Ikumi is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Great to see you again, Terry. Over to you.
Always great to see you, Ayo, as well. The National Economic Council has approved the release of over 83 billion naira to address the challenge of perennial flooding in the country. The approval was given at the NEC meeting chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Council also ratified a National Regional Development Plan 2026 to 2030 aimed at fast-tracking equal development across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
The 158th meeting of the National Economic Council is happening physically after months of virtual meetings. Vice President Kashim Shettima arrives to chair the meeting with House governors and deputy governors from across the 36 states in attendance. The Vice President underscores the role of the Council in promoting development in the country. Key among the issues on the table for deliberation is the challenge of perennial flooding in Nigeria. The Council wants proactive measures in place as against reactive measures and has approved some funds to achieve this objective.
The prayer actually was the Council is requested to approve the disbursement of the sum of 166,422,363,763 naira only through FAC to the designated implementing agencies and beneficiaries in order to facilitate the implementation of the approved anticipatory action task force interventions. Council approved the sum of 83,211,818,881 naira 50 kobo, being 50% of the proposed budget for the AATF, with a plan to review the framework at subsequent meetings.
NEC has also approved a 5-year national regional development policy aimed at promoting equal development across regions of the country.
In order to make sure that we get the buy-in of the stakeholders, we make sure that the first step was for the ministry to validate the proposals in the 6 geopolitical regions.
Council directed the Minister of Regional Planning, Regional Development to share the proposed NRDP 2026 to 2030 with the state governors in order to digest and make inputs.
Several key decisions were taken for the agriculture sector to strengthen food security, boost exports, and attract greater investment into the country.
Council directed the chairman, Nigerian Agro Export, to set up to meet with Minister of Digital and Blue Economy, Export Promotion Council, and fine-tune the proposal for representation.
Although the issue of security did not form part of the agenda for the meeting of the National Economic Council today, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State during the media briefing, however, noted that NEC has been on the matter and that solutions to the current security challenges in the country are on the way. From the Presidential Villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
All hands are on deck to make sure that the dreaded Ebola virus disease does not show up in the country. This assurance is coming from the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, Femi Gbajabiamila. Speaking after the inauguration of the Presidential Task Force on Ebola virus disease preparedness at the Presidential Villa, he noted that the multi-level coordination efforts bringing together federal and state agencies will be institutionalized as a permanent structure for future epidemics. The Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Jide Idris, said the focus is to be prepared.
Right now, there's no case reported, and that's good news. And that's why we need to all hands have to be on deck to make sure that it's a preventative measure and moves we're making, not curative. We don't want to be in the situation we were last time, where we had a carrier in the country and we were all running helter-skelter. But today, we've covered a lot of grounds. We've set up the subcommittees that will deal with the issues concerned, and hopefully Nigeria will take the lead amongst African nations, and we will not follow. We will take the lead, and we also want to make this a permanent arrangement or structure, for want of a better word. Not a situation where you, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, in 4 years' time, or 5 years' time, as the case may be, there's another outbreak that will start running from pillar to post, trying to put things in place. Let those things be in place already, and then what we will then have at that point will be fillers.
We don't have, like the chief officer said, we don't have any Ebola case here now, but we need to be prepared. We need to ensure that we don't get that Ebola virus here. However, just in case we have one slips in, we must be prepared nationally to deal with this, and that's how we have these the normal preparedness pillars for communicable diseases. We already have an NCDC. It's just a way of, it's just like updating, upgrading, and again modifying the process because of Ebola if you need to be, and again using all the stakeholders.
Well, still to come on the news at 10, federal government unveils new guidelines to facilitate a smooth transition to the provisions of the newly enacted tax law. That's on business news, to stay with us. Welcome back to the news at 10. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has issued a stern warning to land grabbers across the capital city to allow communities enjoy the dividends of democracy. He spoke at the commissioning of the newly constructed access road from the Airport Road, Bill Clinton Drive, to the Tungan Madaki community. The project is part of activities marking President Bola Tinubu's third year in office.
The access road bypassing the airport's second runway from Bill Clinton Drive to the Tugam Madaki settlement, featuring a 4-span bridge, is the latest project to be commissioned during the 3-week series of inaugurations marking the third anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration. The ceremony had in attendance the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who represented President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, and other dignitaries. 9 communities make up the Tugan Madaki settlement that gave up land for the airport's second runway. The 7-kilometer road will bring about major development to the people.
The construction of access road to Tungan Madaki settlement and other communities is intended to open up the area, provide access to several communities, improve security around the Abuja Airport second runway project, which is being developed to complement the first runway within the Aerotropolis area.
In his remarks, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory issued a stern warning to land grabbers across the FCT.
Let me warn the land grabbers who are here. This road is not for you to come and grab the land. Allow the communities to enjoy the dividend of democracy. And I have said to the communities, we will give you C of O to own land where you belong to.
According to the minister, the project will continue from the Tugan Madaki settlement to Zuba Road and is expected to be completed by mid-December.
And yesterday, let me also say, yes, we have done the 7 kilometers. You've seen this. Maybe you've not gone to the first part bridge. We have also said to CCECC to continue from Madaki down to Zuba.
The President of the Senate expressed confidence in the administration's commitment to uplifting Nigerians through the Renewed Hope agenda.
We promise you structural, calculated, and deliberate progress. We promise a renewed hope agenda that will touch the lives of every Nigerian citizen, not just in economic statistics, but in the reality of their daily struggles.
After the speeches, the minister accompanied the President of the Senate to commission the road. To empower the community, the minister has assured that certificates of occupancy in the area will be issued exclusively to members of the community.
Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has attributed the achievement of his administration to the support from President Bola Tinubu's technological investment in security and the private sector involvement. The governor stated this during an interactive session with the presidential media team of the Southeast in Enugu. While itemizing his achievement, he hinged on the support from President Bola Tinubu. He disclosed that his first achievement was to set a target of growing the economy of the state from $4.4 billion to $30 billion.
Renewed Hope National Media Tour bids in Enugu State to continue the inspection of federal and state projects, with the presidential media team and Renewed Hope ambassadors leading the delegation. Some of the key projects inspected include the AK Obinago flyover, a 350-meter dual carriageway on the Enugu-Abakaliki Expressway, as well as the rehabilitation of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway.
Being honest with you, I was one of the people who said that the government at the center abandoned Enugu in the past. But this is a thing of the past. Since the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are not abandoned. We have been carried along. We have several federal government roads going on in Enugu, which I'm sure you're going to see a lot of them. This is just one. In fact, this is the smallest of all the projects the federal government is doing in Enugu.
The teams inspected the ongoing rehabilitation through concession of the international wing of the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, which the state government considers key to growing its economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion by 2031.
So we thought if we were expecting 3 to 5 million visitors coming to Enugu, which was our projection, and this projection is not just something that we just came up with a number. We're also looking at how the aviation sector complements our tourism and hospitality space by saying that this is the quantum of revenue of investment that can catalyze the growth towards our GDP, because at inception what we had planned was to move the Enugu State GDP from 4.4 billion that His Excellency met it to 30 billion by 2031.
The state government is also targeting medical tourism with the construction of this 300-bed quaternary hospital. The hospital is equipped with a facility to attract patients from across Africa and reduce outbound medical travel. During an interactive session with the team, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State highlighted the impact of the collaboration between the federal and state government.
What the policies of Mr. President did for subnational is largely to free up resources, and so I think the clear intention. I think Mr. President has been very intentional in terms of how, this $1 trillion economy is to be achieved. He believes strongly that this is not going to come from top bottom, it's going to come from the peripheral. And in order to achieve that, then you have to strengthen the peripheral, both in terms of responsibility and also in terms of, acting, so providing them with the finance.
The governor adds that investments have been made developing smart schools, improving security, and investing in agriculture as part of effort to improve the economy of the state.
Then after that,
Well, that's all from the nation's capital. Back to Ayo in Lagos for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Terry. Cardinal Stone's 501 billion naira Nigerian bulk electricity trading PLC power sector bond issuance has been recognized as the debt deal of the year by the African Banker Awards 2026. The multi-asset investment management firm served as lead financial advisor and lead issuing house to the 7-year bond, which achieved full subscription from institutional and retail investors, reflecting strong confidence in the transaction and Nigeria's domestic capital market. It's a boost to the company's portfolio and the federal government's broader effort to improve financial sustainability across the country and strengthen the electricity value chain. The deal, described as one of the most significant debt capital market transactions executed in Nigeria in recent years, reinforces Cardinal Stone's position as one of Africa's leading independent investment banking franchises, with a track record of advising on transformative transactions across key sectors of the economy, including infrastructure, energy, financial services, telecommunications, and consumer goods. The investment firm is confident that this recognition will further strengthen its reputation as a trusted financial partner, delivering investment banking, asset management, securities trading, trustees, registrar, financing, and pension solutions to clients across Africa. Industry observers say the award highlights the growing sophistication of Nigeria's capital markets and the important role of innovative financing solutions in addressing critical economic challenges. And now let's head to a business news with Dominic Iwiwo.
Thank you, Ayo. And on business news, the federal government has unveiled a set of guidelines that will enable a smooth transition from the repealed tax law to the newly enacted tax legislation and provide better clarity for its provision. According to the Ministry of Finance, the new guidelines are designed to address practical issues which arise from the migration to the new tax framework and also provide a clear direction for taxpayers, practitioners, as well as federal and state revenue agencies and other stakeholders. The new guidelines also clarifies the treatment of income tax, transaction tax, tax exemptions, developmental levies, and other transactions that extends across Nigeria's tax system. First Holdco has recorded another major milestone in its strategic capital program, successfully completing the 45 billion naira second tranche of its ongoing 350 billion naira private placement, further reinforcing the financial strength of its flagship subsidiary, First Bank. The transaction, which received all necessary approvals from the Central Bank and the Securities and Exchange Commission, underscores growing investor confidence in the group's long-term strategy, governance standards, and earnings potential. First Bank says the fresh capital will be used to enhance its balance sheet capacity, support business expansion, and position the institution to capture emerging opportunities across corporate, commercial, retail, and cross-border banking markets. The milestone comes amid strong operating momentum for the group. First Holdco reported a 72% year-on-year increase in profits before tax to 321 billion naira in the first quarter of 2026, while gross earnings rose 27%, driven by growth in both funded and non-funded income streams. Customer deposits also remained robust at 18.4 trillion naira, reflecting continued confidence in the franchise and the strength of its liquidity position, with shareholders recently approving plans to increase the company's paid-up share capital to 1 trillion naira. First Holdco says it remains focused on disciplined execution, prudent capital management, and creating long-term value for shareholders, while positioning First Bank to compete more effectively in an increasingly dynamic banking environment across Africa and beyond. Commenting on the successful completion of this capital raise, the group chairman of First Holdco, Mr. Femi Otedola, says, "We are deeply grateful to our shareholders for their continued confidence and support, demonstrated both in the successful completion of this capital raise and in their gracious approval at the 14th Annual General Meeting held on May 29, 2026 for the additional capital to be raised to take the paid-up capital of First Holdco to 1 trillion naira. On behalf of the board, I thank our shareholders for standing with us as we take the prudent and necessary steps to preserve the group's stability, enhance balance sheet quality, and build a stronger platform for enduring value. End of quote. Now we head to the stock markets, which fell deeper into negative territory as the benchmark index fell below the 240,000 level due to continued sell pressure by investors. Willie Bong has the details.
Welcome to the stock market report. A further dip for equities on the NGX today as the market index fell by 1.41%, now standing at 237,404 points, and market cap settling at 152 trillion naira. No thanks to industrial giant Dangote Cement. The company lost 40 naira to close at 1,070 naira. We also see that drop weighing on the industrial goods sector. It was down over 3.4%. Now, other key sectors were also in the red. If you look at that, banking is down, consumer goods down, oil and gas is also in the red. Meanwhile, the NGX has introduced new rules requiring a minimum volume of shares to be traded before a stock price can move. Let's see how this affects trading strategies and price discovery on the NGX. Will Ibang signing out.
And now let's check the closing performance of some major stock markets for Thursday. And that's it on Business News. Back to Ayotunde for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Dominic. Simon Pusey is up next with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. stands ready to reimpose an ironclad blockade if Iran doesn't comply with a deal signed by both sides.
This was not easy.
Donald Trump and Iran's Masoud Pezeshkian signed an initial agreement to end the war at the Palace of Versailles last night. As part of the 14-point document, further talks to reach a final agreement will take place over the next 60 days, during which the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. Oil prices fell after the signing, with a barrel of Brent crude now costing $78, down around 1.5% on the day. Also included in the deal is a $300 billion plan for Iran's reconstruction, but key questions around its nuclear program remain.
The details that I've seen so far look awful. This will go down as a tremendous foreign policy blunder. Iran ends up stronger. Our allies in the region are weaker. And Iran has learned that if they are willing to grab that Strait of Hormuz and choke it off, they can get the Western world to dance to their tune. I think it's a deep mistake.
Moscow has come under the largest Ukrainian attack since the start of the full-scale war, with close to 200 drones hitting targets around the Russian capital and setting columns of thick smoke billowing high into the sky. 17 people were wounded in the Moscow region, according to the local governor. Almost 1,000 drones and 4 Ukrainian cruise missiles were intercepted and destroyed across the country in 24 hours, according to Russia's defense ministry. An oil depot was struck in the southern Rostov region, where one person was killed. Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv had once again hit the Moscow region with long-range sanctions, a euphemism for Ukrainian long-distance strikes on Russia. He said the massive drone strike was in response to last week's Russian attack on Kyiv, which set a major religious landmark ablaze. Carlos Alberto Saustagué, the alleged leader of Los Aguilas, who police accuse of leading a faction of one of the country's most feared criminal gangs, has been shot dead as he was leaving the airport in Ecuador's largest city, Guayaquil. Security footage shows two young men waiting outside the arrivals terminal holding stuffed toys and flowers before one of them approaches the victim, pulls his gun from behind a teddy and shoots him point blank. Police have detained two teenagers in connection with the crime, the latest in a widespread wave of gang violence. The latest deadly shooting came just a day after Ecuador's president declared a fresh state of emergency in 10 provinces, including where the attack unfolded. A former Ugandan mayor and lawyer representing detained opposition figure Kizza Besigye, who is on trial for treason, has himself been charged with a treason-related offence. Arias Lukwago appeared before a magistrate's court in the capital Kampala looking visibly weak, local media reported, days after he was arrested at his home. He denied the charges of failure to report treason and was remanded in prison until next week, when his case will be heard. His arrest sparked condemnation of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the country's military chief and son of the president, who boasted about it on social media. Hundreds of eyewitnesses have seen a bright fireball streaking across the night sky in over a dozen states. A fireball flew through the sky at 10:26 in the evening, captured by 3 NASA Meteor cameras. According to NASA, the first image of the space rock was captured above Tupelo in Mississippi as it moved northwest at a speed of 56,000 miles per hour. The meteor traveled 300 miles across the country before it disintegrated 34 miles above the Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri. And the world's oldest living land animal, a tortoise named Jonathan, has extended his record to 194 years, as he was officially named a Guinness World Records icon. The record-keeping organisation said Jonathan, a Seychelles giant tortoise living on the island of St Helena, was a full-grown adult of at least 50 years when he arrived at St Helena from the Seychelles in 1882. His birth year is estimated to be 1832 at the latest, but researchers believe he might be even older.
As charming as he is, and he is a charming character, he does know who's who, he does know who his feeders are, he does respond to their voices, but he is an animal with his own character, and that needs to be respected.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Temboho Mokwena's penalty kept South Africa's dream of reaching the World Cup knockout stages for the first time alive after a 1-1 draw with Czech Republic in Atlanta earlier today. Mikel Sadilek's early opener had the Czechs on course for just their second World Cup win as an independent nation, but Mokwena's late sport kick kept both teams in the hunt for the last 32, although they will almost certainly have to win their final Group A fixture to advance. South Africa's next face South Korea, while the Czech Republic take on the daunting task of playing Mexico in the Estadio Azteca. And substitute Joan Mazambi scored twice as Switzerland beat Bosnia-Herzegovina 4-1 on Thursday at Sophie Stadium to take a big step towards the World Cup last 32. Swiss captain Granit Xhaka added a goal from the penalty spot, and Ruben Vargas scored for the European side as they moved to the top of Group B on 4 points. And Ghana coach Carlos Queiroz has praised his players for their resilience and quality after the Black Stars battled to a 1-0 win over Panama at BMO Field. Coach Queiroz described the World Cup as a tournament of very expensive wins and admits Ghana had to suffer and fight for their lives against a well-organized Panama side. And back home, FC Rebel Queens this evening beat President Federation Cup defending champions Rivers Angels 1-0 at the Samuel Ugbemudia Stadium in Benin City to advance to the semi-finals. They will be joined by Heartland Queens, who defeated Ibom Angels 4-2 on penalties after a 2-2 draw in Aba. Sunshine Queens edged Confluence Queens 1-0 in another last 8 clash. Newly crowned NWFL Premiership champions, Edo Queens lost to Nasarawa Amazons 5-3 on penalties after a goalless draw. Bad Sports is back to you, Ayo.
And the main news again. Less than 48 hours before the Ekiti state governorship election, the electoral umpire INEC has commenced the distribution of sensitive election materials to all 16 local government areas of Ekiti state. And the Nigeria Governors of Forum have met with State Attorneys General to review proposed constitutional amendments and deliberate on legal frameworks for the establishment of state police across the country. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. From everyone here, you have a good night.